Hi, I'm Steve Henn. I'm going to be reading three poems from my new chapbook from Main Street Rag called American Male. And the first poem is a true story. It's called A Small Reckoning or Bob-O-Matic. When I was in middle school, there was a janitor named Bob, who everybody called Bob the janitor, who would pick up change off the floor when he spied any laying about in the cafeteria or in the corners of the carpeted hallways. And so what happened was boys, this type of thing was always done by boys, began sticking fishing line with rubber cement or a piece of chewing gum to a quarter, or sometimes a whole dollar bill, and leaving it 3 or 4 human measures away on the floor next to their table in the cafeteria or in the hallway, a few strides from where they stood, a group of tweener boys plotting hilarity, keeping an eye out for a victim, or for the victim, the one they hoped for. Other kids noticed, of course, and would ask what they called this advanced pranking technology, and they'd say, "It's called a Bob-O-Matic." It was the easiest thing to understand. Everybody understood the gag of ridiculing the old, hapless, underpaid janitor, too poor to retire, too spry for death, who wiped their unnecessary ketchup spills off their lunch tables, and who picked up their intentionally discarded used Kleenexes from the hallway floors. Everyone roundly agreed that Bob-O-Matics were hilarious, especially the boys. All of us pissants, laughing and high-fiving over the imagined insult that Bob the janitor never fell for, though many of the boys said they got him. Many of the boys had their moment of cruel glory and an imagination that would grow into adulthood, and an imagination that was just beginning to get warm. And this next one is I guess it's the title poem of the chapbook. The chapbook has to do with masculinity, I guess, in our culture. This is called American Male. I know why I don't golf. I have a temper, you see, and even though my younger brother bested me at most things involving athletic grace, or perhaps because of it, long did I incubate a singular competitiveness encouraged by coaches, teachers, my mother, but mostly male figures, mentors/authorities, adults who determined that unleashing a hyper-competitive 9-year-old contestant nearly foaming at the mouth with crazed lust to possess whatever ball happened to be in play and put it right where it belonged would prepare him admirably for 21st century American capitalism, or prison, or the Senate, really just about any American institution. So I can't golf because I can't handle intending the ball to fly straight while watching it slice through the trees to the right or plunk in the drink, because if it does, I'm throwing the clubs, the bag, and the caddy in after it. I don't golf because it's like learning ballet. Any 44-year-old novice would clumsy through it so awkward, breaking ankles and spraining wrists, stepping on someone else's feet with those probably unnecessary, don't you think? Spiked shoes. For reasons much the same, I don't fish. For a few years I did, but it always felt like my body was learning a language my brain was too ossified to interpret. Clutching the pole toward the water, casting the hook behind me to catch in my hair. Come to think of it, I do not like to do anything that I'm bad at, which might be why I'm good at so few things. That flash temper immediately responsive to quick, humiliating, frequent failure. 2 weeks ago, when I was taking too much Wellbutrin on accident, consequently feeling super stressed, contemplating secret suicide, I had a minor anxiety attack at Menards because I failed to accomplish buying a mower. What nascent genius saddled the American male with yard work? Why do I always feel a surge of anxiety stepping into a hardware store? Isn't it true I'd rather sit out back in a cheap lawn chair reading poems than do the edge trimming or admire a full wall display of oppressively shiny tools? The president plays golf too. Any president. Take your pick. And there I rest my case, because no ambitious 9-year-old with his faculties intact, capitalist or otherwise, wants to grow up imitating that buffoon. And one more. This poem is after the poem Ave Maria by Frank O'Hara. I called this one Hail Mary. It steals a line at the start and a line somewhere toward the end of the poem. Just a couple of lines that it borrows from O'Hara's poem, and the rest of it is is all original. It's called Hail Mary. Mothers of America, take your boys to the library. Introduce them to the pleasures of reading so they don't mature into 40-year-old overgrown adolescents who still play smear the queer and give each other purple nurples. Show them adventure and excitement that can all be experienced safely between the ears. It's true we need adults who can fix stuff and beefy security guards for an evening with concerts featuring some washed up pop star or group from an ancient decade. But it would also be nice 30 or 40 years from now if our president had literacy skills. They'll stop bouncing basketballs incessantly against the kitchen wall and scampering up the stairs like they live in a zoo, but they'll be too busy using context clues to decipher what ameliorate means, or writing poems for their second grade crushes with the empathy and self awareness of people who've experienced the minds of others, rather than vandalizing on Halloween or sneaking vapes or snorting pixie sticks for practice. If they like reading, you'll have paid it forward into the fund whose dividends are your boy is becoming a better person, and if they don't like reading, they'll get really into sports or crushing things or become officers in their local incel chapter. So don't blame me if you don't take this advice. And more wars are started, more women are raped, and they all learn to drop bombs with drones into enemy wedding parties from a remote locale using a joystick that functions like a video game controller and feel guilty when they're old for all their toxic mistakes, or even worse, not. That's Three Poems from American Male by Steve Henn, available at Main Street Rag. Also check out therealstevehenn.com. Thank you.